Hi, I'm Phoebe Grover with Grover Mortgage Group.
And I'm Natalie Van Cardo with the Nat Nate Real Estate Team.
Welcome to our new podcast,
Real Estate of Mind,
where we discuss real estate, life, and everything in between.
We're excited for you to follow us and join in on our journey. Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are joined with a special guest, which is Juanita. I have known Juanita for quite a few years now. We met during COVID in a networking group, and we're actually going to kind of pick her brain on how she has created her own network group, which has been gaining a lot of momentum. And yeah, welcome, Juanita.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here. This is my first guest appearance on a podcast, so I'm pretty excited about this.
Oh, exciting. Well, thanks for choosing us.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we met in COVID at I don't know if you remember, but during a networking thing. And then once the restrictions kind of lessened, we were able to meet in person. And then you invited me to a networking group. And then from there, we kind of broke off and made our own little group. That we still meet weekly, which is amazing. And then you've always had this kind of back in your head, this vision of creating this network, this larger network group. So do you want to tell us kind of your thought behind it and why you think networking has been so important to you?
Well, actually, it's not necessarily that I started with the networking thing in mind. It was actually a few thoughts that were siloed, separate from each other that I didn't realize were part of a bigger picture until one day I realized, oh my God, if I put this together, this now all makes sense. And that's where the momentum really got going, so to speak, once I put it all together. So it's a combination of all these workshops and seminars and webinars that I've been doing with other people and not having a place for them to be. That's one silo. And then another silo was a podcast that I'm, wanting to do with other people and pick their brains of how people can build their wealth. Yeah. And this other silo of networking. But I think it's the networking piece that's really built up because and really getting the highlights or the focus because it's really needed. And since COVID, a lot of it's gone. Mm-hmm. So there's quite a number of networking groups that are still available, still out there, and they're really great. Some of them, for me personally, I just could not make because of my schedule, because of other restrictions I had or whatever. Yeah. And it was partially that. And then a lot of the female-only groups that I really like, they're gone. They never came back for various reasons. And as each one was dying away, I actually took an interest in figuring out, do I want to continue that group? So there was a Fem City in Grimsby that I really loved. Yeah. I looked into maybe taking over that one, but it just didn't fully align with me. Mm-hmm. And there was another female-only group that wasn't really it wasn't really a networking thing, but I loved going there. But even that didn't really 100% resonate with me as something I want to take over. So, and then there's a Grimsby one that I really, really loved. And she didn't, the person who was running that didn't really want to take over that. Not take over, sorry. She didn't really want to continue it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this is the one, if I'm going to mimic anything, this is the one I'm going to mimic. Yeah. And so I started with that one, mimicking that. And so we just started off as a coffee group and just coming once a month. And then I started to be a little bit more formal about it. And because it was a bit more structured and formal, but still had the element of this, casual, friendly, and everybody is welcoming.
Yes, yeah.
So that really fed into why it kept growing. And then, but again, it was only a small part of this bigger picture. And I was involved in a lot of other mixed networking groups. And again, couldn't make them for various reasons. And so I'm like, instead of being on the sidelines, I can't go, whatever reasons, I decide, you know what? I'm just going to make my own with a schedule that I can do and that works for me. And if others can make it, that's great. And if not, we'll meet again somewhere else.
And what I like about your group is there's like an educational aspect of it too. So you always like have a different speaker bringing in some sort of different content that also like acts as a discussion for everybody that's there. So it gets people more involved and engaged, opposed to just kind of sitting around like, I do this or I do that. And like it's kind of more, those settings are a little bit more cold for me. So here, like you give people an opportunity to learn. You do give the floor to each person there to kind of express what they do and introduce themselves, which is awesome. And then even afterwards, I think because you have that educational piece with it, it gives people a little bit more ease when meeting with each other afterwards and like starting a conversation.
Yeah. So if anyone who's actually been to one of my networking groups, they're going to see elements that they've seen elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And I fully admit that I've taken things from other networking groups that I really liked and adapted it to myself. Mm-hmm. So the whole structure is probably a little bit more reminiscent of a BDM, though I've never actually been to a BDM meeting. Mm-hmm. No, that's not what it's called. BNI.
Yeah.
Even though I've never been to a BNI meeting, I've been to some knockoff type meetings that are very similar to a BNI, and I'm like, okay, I really like that. Mm-hmm. And what I found, I just remember when I first started networking, I was shy, but I was, I'm still a go-getter. I was very much a go-getter back then. Shy, but part of that was just being scared and thinking everyone knows so much more than me and blah, blah, blah. And then after a while, coming to the realization, not really.
Yeah.
But it took me a while to get there.
Yeah.
But then I'm then going back and thinking, how did I get past that?
Yes.
And getting past that was just having genuine conversations with people and getting to know them. Mm-hmm. And then I look back to the networking groups that I really liked, where I did a lot of talking and how they did it. And so I try to mimic some of that. Mm-hmm. And so, for example, the whole having a speaker talk, I purposely call them discussion leaders.
Yes.
And I try to encourage them to not just speak, but do something interactive, whether it be like take a moment to pause and ask questions or get some feedback and kind of, be flexible in your talk. So that way it flows with the interests of what everyone's talking about. And then the other thing that I've added on, which seems to be working really great, is at the very end of the speaker, the Q&A, is I take a question or a comment or something, and I get everyone into groups and have that discussion. And I find people, one, they have to get out of their seats and talk. Mm-hmm. But once they've done that and they've forced sort of to do a little conversation with someone, then things have loosened up. And hopefully someone takes that moment to continue that conversation they had. Or, oh, that was an interesting thing you said. Could you tell me more about it? And it just gets that conversation flowing. Therefore, they feel like they've gotten something out of it.
Yeah.
They feel like, I came here to connect with people, and I think I did that. And I try really hard to make sure that everyone walks away feeling like they talked to somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do get that feeling. It's very comfortable. Like, yes, when you get there, especially if you don't know too many people. But what I've noticed, so I've gone to ones before you got to the location that you're at now. And when I came to your new location where you're doing it, a lot of people that I've met in different areas are now there, which is just funny to see. Like, oh, you guys heard about this too. Like, it's growing traction, which is amazing.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So for obviously you know a lot about it, but for our listeners who don't know, including myself, so where are you located? What's your group called? Give us a little bit more of information about it.
Well, the bigger umbrella is called Building My Wealth, and that
My Wealth. Okay,
that feeds into education, because okay, so my background is I'm a mortgage agent by trade. And what I've kind of noticed with a number of the people that I help is that there's lots of people who really know what they're doing and that's fabulous, like know what they're doing with money, and that's fabulous. But there's a lot of people I've kind of realized that don't know a lot about money.
Yeah.
And
The financial literacy is not there.
Yeah.
no, it is not.
Yeah.
And which is kind of too bad, because it's especially heartbreaking to help someone who's trying to do a refinancing. And I think, I'm so wonderful. I'm helping them, getting them on the right track. And then to speak to them maybe 4 or 5 years later, and they're sort of in the same boat again. It's heartbreaking. And I just feel like some education is sort of needed. And part of that education is good habits. But, learning those good habits, sometimes it's a mindset. So it's not just financial literacy. I find it's also the mindset training, the whole, I keep using the word mindset, but I feel like
It's
there's
a big part of it. Yeah.
there's more to it. It's like this whole everything behind it besides the education mindset. It's just the whole attitude and an openness around it. So that's part of it. And so the sort of the umbrella of it all is called Building My Wealth. And then underneath it is the podcast, is collaborations that I do with others, whether it's webinars, seminars, workshops, or whatever, however we can get education, booths or whatever, and also the networking piece. So for the networking piece, I like to think of it as where I'm connecting with the industry experts. So that is where I find a lot of my guest speakers for my podcast. That's where I find all the people that are not everyone there who speaks is from there, but that's where I draw from them first.
Yeah.
Because the idea is, yes, it's a growing, it's very professionally done. It is growing. There is momentum. I purposely do not pay for speakers. I go out of my way to find people that have something to say that can help others and give them this opportunity to speak.
That's really good. That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they're, and if they are involved in Toastmasters, I really want them to speak, because this gives them an opportunity to get in front of people in like a real life setting, so to speak. And that's what Toastmasters is all about.
Yeah.
Another one that I'd love to be part of.
Facing your fears.
Yes, exactly. But also getting people to know what you do. And so part of being a discussion leader, I had this conversation last night with someone who I was trying to convince to be a discussion leader. And I was basically saying, you don't have to be there and sell yourself. Just standing there in front of these people, you've already sold yourself as the expert.
Yes.
Now lean into it and educate them so they feel like they're walking away with something that they can use. So for example, the speakers that I do have, I try to have them share something that everyone can use. So, for example, I'm trying to think of a topic that,
I can say, so the one that I came to, it was a realtor talking about that one book, which was
You're a Badass.
You're a
love
Badass.
that.
Yeah.
By
So that had
Jen
nothing to do
Sincero.
with her profession whatsoever. And it was just discussing this book, the tools and tricks that she's learned from it.
Very cool.
And it was just a good, kind of feel good discussion, which I loved. So yeah, that's kind of an example of kind of what you can expect.
What kind of professionals do you have there? What kind of people can join? How big is your group?
So you have two. One is called Divas.
Wealth Building Divas.
And then you have the other one,
which doesn't really have a name. And the reason I say that is because I have this massively long name for it, and I can't come up with a shorter one. Because, again, the umbrella is Building My Wealth.
Yeah.
And if you are on the mailing list, at the bottom it does say Building My Wealth, because, again, that's the umbrella. But Wealth Building Divas, I like to think of it as a different department.
Yeah.
It's part of it, but it's very separate. Same mailing list, but anyway.
I like that name, Wealth Building Divas. It's cool.
Yeah, so it's it is females.
I like
but
that.
then you've
It's cool.
created a second one that does have males in it too.
Co-ed.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is, technically speaking, is Building My Wealth, Hamilton Building My Wealth, Hamilton Burlington Business Networking Group.
It is a mouthful.
It is too long. So often
You can abbreviate it.
You got to use ChatGPT to think of a short name for you.
that is what totally. That's what I need to do. I just haven't come up with an idea of what to call it.
Yeah.
Other
And that
than
one's
how-
fairly new.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fairly new, but already it's almost the same size as, even though the next one I think is going to be the third or fourth networking group for that one, like a meeting. And already I'm going to expect a bigger group for the December meeting.
Yeah. So you originally, like for your in-person networking, we started at a coffee shop. And then it grew to be too big. You couldn't handle everybody there. It was become disruptive to the other customers. And then you found a location in a library, which has a great setup because there's a big enough space for everybody to sit. And then you have enough, like a big, nice floor for the speaker to kind of engage with everybody as well.
Yes. And the nice thing is you can set up how you want the room made up.
Yeah.
And they do it for you, which is fabulous. I cannot complain about that. So because it can seat anywhere from 40 to 120 people. Again, I don't want to see the group that big, but it's really nice. What I'm trying to say is it's a nice flexible space, and they have technology, and I'm taking full advantage of it.
Yeah.
So I have it so that people actually do an official check-in, which has their name, contact information, a little description of how they can help people, a little description of how you can help them. And since then, I've added, there's a section where you can add events that you're doing that you like to invite people to. And now there's a call for me to add social media links. So that is upcoming. Anyway, at the end of the meeting, if you wish to share your information with others who attended the meeting, you can include your profile when you check in. And at the end of the meeting, you get a PDF with all the contact information.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Honestly, it's amazing because when you are there, when like everyone's introducing themselves, you're like, oh, that's cool. I want to meet her or I want to meet that person. But then at the end, maybe they're talking to other people. You don't interrupt.
And you
So
don't
it
get
was
their
good
card
to-
or something.
yeah,
It's
to
nice to
get all
just
their
have that.
info.
That's really smart.
Yeah, and you're like,
I
oh,
don't
now
know
I can connect with that
That's like
person.
I think that's a new thing that you've implemented. I don't think a lot of networking groups do that.
Not a lot, but I did steal that from someone else.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I'm telling you,
I'm giving you the credit for that one.
Yeah, no, that's really
but
innovative.
I give the credit to someone else.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So again, what kind of professionals will be accepted? Is there anybody who shouldn't come? Like what kind of people can you expect in this group?
You know what? It's open to everyone.
Okay.
Like everyone has a reason to network. And so far I haven't said that no, you shouldn't come. Like everyone has found a good reason to be there. So that's great. So maybe in a year time you might ask me that question. I'll have an answer. Right now I don't.
Okay.
I do remember having a very interesting conversation with someone who I think this was around the time just before I moved to the Burlington Public Library. We're still in a coffee shop, I think. She had called me and asking, can I come or should I wait till I start my business to come? And which was a very fair question. I'm sure lots of people think about, when should I start networking?
Yeah.
And I said, I think you should, if you are able to make it, you should come now. And the reason being is, yes, you haven't started yet, but I'm hoping you might, pick up on ideas of, that will help you with your business when you do start it. You can start connecting with people that might help you in your business when you're ready to start. And I think a couple weeks ago, I got this amazing letter from her. So I had sent out my newsletter, saying, what's coming up. Like, I'd like to give updates. And she responded back by saying, thank you so much for doing these. I'm really glad that I followed your advice and attended. I was so encouraged and I felt so empowered. I've started my business and I'm going full throttle.
That's
not the
awesome.
word she used, but
Yeah,
basically the idea.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, oh my God, I had to print that out and save it because I'm like,
For sure. And you know what? It's a good example of like the imposter syndrome that kind of everybody feels. And networking, as much as it is scary to think of, like, I don't know anything, just like how you were kind of nervous starting out too, like, did people know more than me? But I find with your group, there's like no judgment and everyone is very welcoming. Everybody's gone through stuff or have career changes or whatever it may be. So it's very much a safe space for people to be in, which is very rare for a networking group.
I really, really try to keep it that way. Like I really try to keep that energy of welcoming and encouragement. And I really try to hold on to that very tightly.
Yeah.
And I know that with the men's group, it's a different energy there, but I still try really hard to keep that same space there. Yeah. And even though we've only done 2 or 3 networking groups at this, or meetings at this point, so far, I think it's going well in that regard. And I think people are really starting to hear about it because it's a week and a half away from the next one. And I've got not a full, but almost full number of people coming to that one. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah.
It's very good.
It's coming to a point where I need to start putting limits.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. Or find a bigger space.
You know what? I don't know if that's really what I want to do.
Okay.
Because part of a really small, there's a lot you can gain from a really small group.
Yeah.
And the bigger you get, the more you lose that the warmness and that welcoming. So I kind of don't want these Friday meetings to get too big.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out what is that limit. So that's why I'm not saying this is the limit. I'm still trying to get that answer for myself, what that limit is. But it does feed into another part of this of me thinking, you know what? It might be a good idea for me to maybe do 1 or 2 a year, like these much bigger networking events, like tabled events, because I've been, a number of organizations have reached out to me already asking if they could attend a table. I'm like, these are not tabled events.
Yeah.
However, I will keep you in mind when I do one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I think it would, I'm still trying to figure that tabled event out, because number of tabled events I go to can be kind of cold and unwelcoming, but I'm still trying to answer that question for myself. How do I make it similar, but still one-time bigger event, knowing that you're not going to get as much out of it like you do the regular monthly meetings?
I agree with you. I've been to tabled events downtown Toronto, and I went to one. It was in the Fairmont Hotel, and it was very cold and uninviting. And it was just because there was so many people there and like really famous guest speakers that you're kind of just like, you learn from them, but then it's also kind of intimidating. Yeah. So that's why I liked what you said about how you go out of your way to make sure you don't pay for guest speakers, because then they just feel like they're just regular people and you can kind of learn more from them. Or at least I feel like I could probably learn more from them because they're not this like huge like personality. But yeah, the tabled events can be very uninviting for sure.
And and there's enough of them around that I don't need to mimic those.
Add to that, yeah.
So I am planning a tabled event. But I'm still in my head. I think that's the problem. Some things just kind of swirl in there for a long time. But it's not just the idea I'm just going to make a table event. There's some things I want out of it. I want to make sure that
you have a vision.
Right. Yeah. And I want to make sure that I can do that successfully without going broke over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think
awesome.
Like you've kind of found something in the market that needs to be kind of filled, because like we've come from not seeing anybody, and now I think there's a very big thirst for people wanting to go back into in-person, face-to-face.
What do you think people gain from face-to-face networking over virtual meetings? Because over the pandemic, there's been a lot of virtual meetings. And even when we have guests on this podcast, people are like, ooh, this is my first in-person podcast, and it's not over Zoom. And they like that, like,
which is crazy because it's been like 2 years.
I know.
Since
I
COVID.
think people have just gotten really used to virtual things. Like even for me, I don't meet 90% of my clients. I'm also a mortgage agent, and I don't know if you can attest to this. I don't meet 90% of my clients. They want to do everything over the phone. They want to do everything over Zoom. It's just you don't have that in-person face-to-face. So how do you find people liking it now that you have these in-person events?
I think why there's such a push for them is there's a lot of places that used to have them, whether the people who used to run them, their vision has changed, or they're a different place in their business, or different, things move on, right? And over pandemic, how do I put this? Over the pandemic, people got zoomed out.
Exactly. I'm tired of it.
I don't like it at all. I really don't like it.
My first thing is, can we meet in person?
Yeah, 100%.
Because if I'm on Zoom, there's a majority of time where I will be multitasking, or I'm like this. It's just
not paying
it's not
attention.
engaged.
Any of my meetings that are on Zoom, I just have them on in the background, and I'm like doing my work over here, and I'm not paying attention, and it's not productive at all, like whatsoever.
That, and like I find more face to face, you get a different feel of energy.
Yeah.
Where when you're in front of the camera on Zoom, you leave depleted.
Totally.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But I think people are just used to not meeting anymore. I think we've shifted. Like even the work from home thing is such a huge thing, right? Like nobody wants to go into the office anymore.
Yeah, but that's why like what you're doing, I think there's such a need for it. And the people that are coming out and how much traction it's
And
gaining.
clearly people are seeing a need for it, right? Yeah, there's demand.
There's a thirst. Exactly, a demand.
Yeah.
So and the way that you're doing it is a lot different. I know like you've taken bits and pieces from things that you've learned along the way, but the way that you brought it together, it just makes a lot of sense for majority of people. I think that's why it is gaining a lot of traction.
I think you summed it up really well. I don't think I need to add
She's
to
like,
it.
I have nothing else to add.
It's true, because people are completely zoomed out.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they want to get out and face people. Some people have jobs where they do nothing but are on the phone and on Zoom, and that's it. And they are dying to get out. Because I remember speaking to one person. He's a bookkeeper. I think he also does some social media stuff, and all his work is at his desk. And he's like, "This is the first networking event I've been to in like years, and I just needed to get out. I wasn't sure if I should come or not, and I'm so glad I did." And I love hearing stories like that, because like you said, there is a need, but it's this human connection everyone's missing.
Yes.
And everyone seemed to have forgotten it. And there's a lot of people who seem to have forgotten how to network.
100%. Yes.
And
People have just forgotten how to talk to people in general. Forget networking, right?
yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Like I think people have forgotten like how to talk to their friends in real life. Like forget strangers.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's
very
so sad.
no, I agree. I think people have forgotten how to communicate, forgotten how to network.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of why these meetings that I'm doing are really successful.
So beneficial.
Is because I'm forcing people to talk, and I'm forcing people to kind of get out of their seats, so to speak. And I also, for example, when there's someone who I know is quite shy, I will try to give them space and encourage them to speak. That's something I used to do while we were in a coffee shop, but I still try to do that. It's a little harder in a bigger group. But
Do you ever get any pushback from people? Like, no, I'm not ready, or no, I don't want to.
You know what? I read their body language.
Okay.
If they're resisting, I let it go. But I give them opportunity and let it be that. If they take it, they take it. They don't. They don't. Right.
Yeah.
So the whole. I wanted to add something. Sometimes I ask people to speak, to be a speaker or discussion leader, I should say, and I do a little bit of pushing on that one, especially with people that I know that I think they would have a really good topic. But at the end of the day, if they do say no, no matter what it is in life, we all got to respect the no.
I've told her no.
Really?
No, I was
You'd
all
be good
for
at
it.
it.
I was all for it. And then she's doing it over the break. and it's Eliana's birthday. So
fair enough.
I wasn't planning on it, and we're going somewhere, and I'm like, it's the same day, but like it's our tradition
you can do
to
it
do
next
something.
month.
Yeah, I could even do something completely different.
Make
but
sure you make her do it.
I was one of the ones that were on the fence. I'm like, I wanted to start doing things that are like
out of your comfort zone.
exactly.
Totally.
And then when she asked, I'm like, I have to say yes.
Yeah.
But it didn't end up aligning.
No, it
but
leads to growth. I think it leads
It
to
does.
growth, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Sorry, I think you already like talked about this a little bit in the beginning, but how did you find your first members and what strategy helped the group grow and what strategies are you still implementing? Because you're still growing, right? And it seems like you're growing exponentially.
Who was your first member?
Well, you know what? I don't know if it's necessarily I have members because there isn't a membership list or a membership.
Yeah.
It's just, you know,
So you don't have to come every month. It's just kind of like whenever you want to drop in kind of thing?
Yeah.
yeah, you
It's
just
a free event?
No,
Well, it used to be.
Yeah, it used to be.
I was going to say, I was like, oh my gosh.
well, now I have to bring in coffee and tea,
Yeah,
and I
no.
have to
Yeah.
pay the
And I mean,
rental room. So
your hard work as well.
yeah, so I cover. I at least try to cover the fees.
Yeah, it's not large. Like others are like $50. It's way less than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, my goal is not. I mean, it'd be nice to make money off of this, but that's not the goal. My goal is make sure the costs are covered, whether that be costs that you can see or not. Okay, as long as that's all covered, and everyone. So as long as that's taken care of, then everything else, it's all about let's make a connection. Let's build our business network. Let's build our business connections, and I love all this to feed into the podcasts that I do and the workshops that I like doing, and it hopefully helps build everybody's business because ultimately that's the goal, right?
Has it helped build your business as a mortgage agent? Like, have you seen your business grow from it at all?
Yes.
Awesome. That's great.
That's part of the motivation because what I found pre-pandemic, during the pandemic was I got the most referrals through networking. And
they're warm referrals, which are the best referrals, right?
the best in the world.
Yeah.
But if I continually have this, I can't make such and such, and it comes down to, am I going to continue with that excuse, or what can I do about it? And I have lots of experience putting together other events, not necessarily related to networking. And I have experience, leading groups in that. So I'm like, you know what? I feel like I could do this.
Yeah.
See, this is real entrepreneurial spirit, which I love because she's like, this isn't working for me. I'm going to create something that does work for me. And I love that.
Yeah.
I really like that. That's you took it and you're like, I want to make this my own. And that's really cool.
Yeah. And I figured if I'm going to do it myself, then I want to bring in all the elements that I liked from other groups
Totally.
that I felt really worked.
So what strategies are you continually using to build your group, or is it just like word of mouth now? Because it's gotten to a point.
Right now it's word of mouth.
Okay.
And
no marketing or anything.
I did do a little bit of marketing for the mixed group when I started because I was scared. I was in that, oh my goodness, what did I just do?
Yeah.
moment.
Totally. Yeah.
And it didn't help at all. It was word of mouth, and it continues to be word of mouth.
Yeah.
Not to say that I won't do any advertising in the future. If I do, it won't be for the networking group. It'll probably be to build more followers to the platforms or stuff like that, but not necessarily to bring in people to the networking groups, because I feel like the word of mouth is doing the most. So that's great, and that's cheap.
Well, and just to like add to that, so like when I went to your new one and I was helping sign people in, majority of people were like, oh, this is my first time here. I heard this was such a good group. Like it was that word of mouth aspect of which got people here because they've heard good things about it, which I was shocked. I'm like, that's really amazing. I'm so proud of you. I'm like, oh.
How did you hear about it?
Well, I knew Juanita before.
Oh,
so I knew her before she created it.
Okay.
And then she said, like, I'm starting to do these coffee meetup groups. So I went to a couple of those. And then I've just, because she's chatted about it in our weekly meetings, and like I've kind of seen the evolution of like how she's gotten to here now, which is really impressive. So you should be proud.
Thank you. It's just kind of weird because in my head, I know everyone's like really impressed, but in my head, I'm like, really? Because it just sort of grew out of a need and a frustration and kind of like, I just need this to work, or I need to do these networking meetings because I know for myself they're beneficial and I need to do them. And if I can't go, I'm just going to do it myself.
I can see that in your demeanor. Like, I can see that you're not thinking that this is such a big deal. Like, while we're talking about it and we're like, oh, this is so cool. And you're kind of like, yeah, like it is cool. But I see like, you don't seem like it's a big deal, which is really very humbling.
Yeah.
Like,
Thank you.
I just want you to know that not a lot of people could pull this off. So it is very impressive. Like, not very many people take something that's not working for them and then just like make a whole new thing. Like, you're doing a cool thing
Thank you.
here.
I never thought of it that way.
Well, the other thing, like I wasn't big on networking. I did it in COVID because like, how was I else going to meet people and like, what was I going to do? So I did. And like, you've always kind of pulled me back into the networking space. And I've just enjoyed the ones that you've always taken me to, opposed to ones I've kind of explored on my own. No, really. Because I've done a BNA and I'm like, this format is not.
BNI is crazy and it's very like rigid. It's very structured and there's only like 6 or 7 people like allowed in each cohort and it's like very.
Oh my God. There's one, I think it was a Burlington one. We were all, they were interviewing agents to realtors to be their realtor on it. And I'm like, I can't, like, it has to be, there was like a certain amount of meetings per month and this time and then time
also
of day.
There's a criteria where you have to refer to each other. Like you have to do that. And it's like, what if I just don't have any referrals? You're just going to kick me out of this group.
I was just really upfront and honest. I'm like, right now, it's because it was just like in the peak of COVID and everything. I'm like, I cannot give you guys this amount of time.
No,
like
it's
there's
crazy.
No way.
Yeah.
Especially how the market is right now. I'm like, I cannot do it. But not having that aspect of like, I have to do this. And it was very uncomfortable for me because it's not my personality. I don't like to push things on people or have things pushed on me. Yeah. So your format is, to me, it's amazing.
Oh, thank you. You know what? I have spoken to a number of people who are ex-BNI people. And I love asking them questions about it because I keep getting invited to attend or be a member. And so I'm kind of curious, you know, what's it about? But at the same time, I think at some point, at the beginning, I couldn't make any meetings that I was invited to. Yeah. Again, it comes from that, can't go. But then after a while, I started talking to people who were ex-members, and now it's coming to a point where if people invite me to them, I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to bother because I've spoken to enough ex-BNI people that told me all sorts of stuff about it that I'm like, that is so not for me.
No. Yeah. And when you said you've like taken some things from like earlier when you were saying you've taken some things from BNI, and I'm like, I don't think you have. Like BNI doesn't seem like what you're doing.
Well, I guess because I've never attended a BNI meeting, technically speaking, I've not taken anything from them. Yeah. However, I have taken some elements from knockoffs.
Fair enough. Yeah.
That were clearly, well, you know what? Again, I don't know that they're knockoffs. People have told me that they're knockoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I've sat in a few. And the only thing that I could say maybe is that you just have one person doing a large speak, like a large talk. And then everybody afterwards are basically explaining who they referred in the week or that sort of thing. Yeah.
So
that's the only thing.
Like it. It feels like it's like homework or something like you like have to do.
It is.
You know, like I don't like that feel. That makes me feel uncomfortable. I've never joined a BNI group, but I've heard from people that I know that I've joined and I'm like, this is not for me. Like that's.
No, I've had to listen to like insurance brokers and like a roofer talking.
And there's only one profession allowed per group. Like, so if there's a realtor in this cohort, there can't be another realtor.
No, which I get their premise, but I just like a more relaxed
It needs to be, it's very rigid, which I don't like.
Yeah, and I try not to do the one seat thing because for the one, in my head, the one seat thing is good when you're constantly showing up on a regular basis. But most networking groups you don't show up on a regular basis. You show up when you can. And if there happens to be 2 realtors there, then there's 2 realtors there.
Yeah.
But here's the thing with all these this is my personal philosophy about all these networking events. It's great to show up, great to get your face in front of other people because that's how you get remembered. But I find that the real magic happens in between the meetings. So taking the time to pick up the phone and actually calling them.
Yeah.
And I remember one person saying to me, well, I'll connect with you. We always seem to connect. And even when we don't need to connect, we connect. Like, and I'm like, yes, that's the magic.
Yeah, that's the point of networking.
Yeah, I was going to ask, hold on, I wrote it down very, very nicely, of how do you kind of transition from professionalism in these groups and then to creating a more personal relationship with people?
I still think it's picking up that phone. And I know a lot of people, in between want to have a coffee connection afterwards. And I try to do that, but sometimes my schedule just can't do it. So I've kind of transferred over to let's do Zoom. I know the dreaded Zoom, but at least when it's one-on-one, it's a lot more engaging and you have to kind of, be in focus and be engaging. So I think one-on-one Zooms still work because I do it with my clients and that definitely works.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of has to work, especially when they choose it. But at the same time, I find the one-on-one thing in between really does help. And and because I'm involved with this networking thing, it gives me lots of reasons to pick up the phone and talk to someone about something. So it keeps me top of mind.
And a part of what you do, which I don't think you realize, is you kind of create opportunities within people meeting, and then they kind of go off and make their own thing, and it's kind of like a balloon effect, which is quite cool to see.
It was one of my hopes.
So with the future in mind, where do you see this group going and evolving to? Like, what's your plan for the future?
My vision for this group is to keep going. I have, for the next meeting, like a short-term vision here, for the next meeting, I'm going to have some integrations involved with the registration and the check-in. So when people come, when they come to the registration table, they've already pre-registered through Eventbrite or meetup.com or whatever. They'll check in and automatically find out who they're going to introduce. Find out who they are going to introduce themselves afterwards.
Yeah.
So that's my new thing. So who are you introducing yourself after? So that way I can figure out who's checked in or not. So that's a short-term goal there, which I'm excited about because it took me forever to get this working.
Yeah.
So that's one. But further ahead, I'm thinking of maybe doing one or two other networking groups in different areas, maybe one in Oakville, one in Beansville, and different times, different locations. Probably not as formal and as big as the Friday ones, just because of location and what other factors could be involved in that. I am planning on doing a tabled event where there's going to be panel speakers, also tables and seating area and food vendors, like a proper event. I just need to kind of think out how this is going to work.
Amazing. I love that.
Thank you for your time.
Really good
Juanita.
attitude.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I've learned a lot. I'm excited to join networking groups.
Yeah.
And I think everyone should join a networking group to get out of their bubble and get out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a great idea.
I agree.
You're like, yes, come to mine, please.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your time, and we will see you guys next time.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you for having me.
Thank you.